everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kim and I'm bringing you today another speed build. This is Highgate Manor. It's on a 64 by 64 lot in Windenburg and it comes in at just over 1 million simoleons. This is a big bruiser of a house. Decided last week that I wanted to do a big mansion. I wanted to go off the scale and do something that on a big grand scale that I've never done before, and this was it. It's a 9-bedroom 6-bathroom build, and yeah, it took some building. I would say the actual exterior didn't really take that long, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty easy going, you know, I could do quite a few of these. And then as I got to like my 7th bedroom decorating the interior, I was like, is this ever gonna end? So I'm pleased to say I worked really hard on this build. I did go onto Pinterest for some sort of inspiration to get a few ideas. I wasn't sure whether to do a modern build, traditional build, but where I come from is where quite a lot of the Manchester United football players live, and there are a lot of very extravagant houses, a lot of huge estates and stately homes, and I kind of imagined driving through that area and seeing this particular build and it completely not being out of the norm. This is very much the type of house that I'd imagine to see in this you know, in Prestbury in Cheshire, where I'm from. So currently I'm doing the exterior, and although I had inspiration off Pinterest, this is really just me not being sure how I want to do the build, what I want it to look like, what windows to use. I really didn't have a clue. So there's quite a lot of this footage that has been edited and quite a lot that you don't see, because it took me ages to figure out where I wanted the windows, how I wanted the roof, how I wanted the chimneys to be, and yeah, so I kind of like tried to shorten it down for you so you can see how I got to the build to look how it looks now, without you having to sit through, you know, me transforming the windows 1,000 times. So a little bit about me. I live in Manchester in England. I've been in Manchester now for probably about 6 to 7 years, but I actually grew up in a place that's around about 15 miles south of Manchester, in a place called Macclesfield in Cheshire. I've been a gamer now for nearly 10 years. When I say gamer, I've sort of played games quite a lot as a good hobby of mine for like nearly 10 years, and normally I play MMORPGs, so I've played World of Warcraft now for nearly 8 years. I've played Star Wars, Elder Scrolls Online, WildStar, Black Desert. One of my favourites is League of Legends. Absolutely love that game. But one of the main games in the last several years I've played consistently is The Sims 4. I absolutely adore this game. Now, I'm not claiming to be somebody that's been playing The Sims since I've been in nappies, because I haven't. I remember going to visit, when I was much younger, a friend, and her sister was playing on the original Sims game. I remember going over and watching her on the PC and being like amazed by the game. It looked like something I would absolutely love to play. But at the time I didn't have a PC, so you know, that kind of ended that really. And then the next time I came across The Sims was when I had a PlayStation 2 and I bought The Sims 2. And I loved it, played that game. But then I saw that The Sims 3 was coming out, and wow, I was so excited about the launch of that game that I pre-ordered it. And at the time I'd just bought a new PC and I was so excited about The Sims. It's probably the only reason, you know, that I really bought this PC. I was just like, yes, you know, so excited finally I could get to play a proper version of it on the PC, because for me, playing it on PC compared to console, there's not really much comparison. So I'd got my new computer, The Sims 3 came out, I rushed home, installed it, so excited. That was going to be like what I was going to do for the next several weeks. I was just going to be in hiding playing The Sims 3. And lo and behold, my computer wouldn't play it. I didn't have enough memory, and I didn't have a decent enough graphics card, even though it was a new computer, and I was mortified. At the time, I didn't really know much about technology or PCs or what I needed, what I didn't need, and I just sort of left it. And it wasn't until probably a few years after that that I eventually met my husband, who does know everything and anything about technology, who had built me a decent computer, and I was able to play The Sims 3 finally. So I got the expansions and yeah, loved it. So when The Sims 4 was coming out, I was really excited because I knew I'd be able to play it this time. And so I've been playing The Sims 4 since launch. So I've currently clocked up around about 1,300 hours of gameplay so far in The Sims 4. I've no idea if that's actually a large amount of time or average amount of time or a poor, I don't know. But all I know is that that's how much I've clocked up so far, and I've played this game quite a lot in between lots of other games over the last several years. I love playing The Sims for building, and I like playing it for the actual game as well. I love creating families and characters and doing let's plays, and yeah, I did the 100 baby challenge. That was quite interesting, although I believe that could be really quite difficult now toddlers has come out. So looking at this build, I'm now starting to do the landscaping. I feel like I've got everything that I need on the exterior of the building at the moment, and I'm working on the front. I love to do landscaping. It's probably one of my favourite things when it comes to a build, and I'm absolutely obsessed with that trellising that goes up the side of buildings. Oh, I must have that on most of my builds now since it got released. I just think it looks really pretty, and it adds a lot of character to a building, especially when you're doing kind of an old style. I think that looks beautiful, but I can get a little bit carried away with colours. I know when I came to do Rosaville, which was like my Tuscan villa, I sort of went all out because, to be fair, with an Italian build, they do tend to have like quite lush gardens that are quite colourful and exotic. So it sort of fit that, but with this kind of estate, I wanted to keep it a little bit cleaner. Certainly with a build like this, I know with English manor houses, they tend to look quite symmetrical. Not all of them, but predominantly I would say that they like to be quite symmetrical. So that's what I wanted to do with the front of this house. The back's different, but the front, I wanted it to look quite clean and crisp and neat and organised, and I think I pull it off quite well. But at the same time, I didn't want to make it look too busy. I wanted it to be quite posh, and I wanted, you know, if you're going to drive by this place, it needs to be a showstopper. People need to be like, wow, that garden must take 1,000 hours to do. Well, that's what I would think anyway, if I actually drove past this house in real life. For the back of the house, I decided to do a maze, which, let's face it, any kind of house like this has always got to have a maze, hasn't it? I actually went in one of those as well years ago. I went on a school trip, and that again was to like an English estate. I forget what it was called now. I'm sure it was called Capesthorne Hall, but I might be wrong, and it had a maze in it. I remember it being loads of fun. So yeah, this house had to have a maze in it. So I did a maze in the back, and I also did like an area where you can do some gardening, and I did a little place where you can sit down as well. But I wanted this house to have everything in it, absolutely everything, stuff for kids as well. But thinking realistically, if this house really existed, would it have a huge multicoloured water slide in the back? Probably not. Or would it have like your barbecue stuff out? Maybe, but again, probably not. So I just wanted to keep it clean. But I was thinking, if that's what you wanted to add into it, if you wanted to download this house and play it, there is so much room on a 64 by 64 lot that you can definitely put one in if that is what you choose. But for me, I just thought I'd keep it as plain and simple as possible. So this build doesn't have any CC in it either, and nor does it have any mods. I don't run my game with any CC or mods in it at all, mainly because as exciting as they are, I've just had no luck at all. Every single time I've played my game with any form of mod in it or any form of CC, it's ended up crashing, and I've lost like hours and hours worth of gameplay. So obviously I'm a lot more careful now about how I do my saves, and I say resave a fresh save every time I'm doing something so that never happens. But just to be on the safe side, I don't use any CC or any mods. So this does literally use probably every stuff pack in the game. The only one it won't use is the spooky one, because I haven't got that one actually. Maybe I might get it around Halloween, but for now I just don't think, especially with vampire stuff out now, I don't really think there's any need for me to get that one just yet. But I wasn't very reserved with what I used. I didn't try to go base game, I just went all out. This was extravagant. So I really hope you enjoy this build. It is different, it is a one-off. But if you did enjoy it, please give me a like and a subscribe, because that would help me out loads. And be sure to tune in for part 2 next time. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye.